Normal night of European football at Villa Park is all I ask for. I don't think we're ever going to see it again. But again, action on the pitch was marred by action off it as the Young Boys fans took their headlines with their aggressive behaviour towards the police. I don't know really what sparked them off. It started off long before the Malen celebration. Absolutely weird bunch. But what could we expect less from a team called Young Boys that play at the Wankdorf? Let's be honest. Young Boys, more like naughty boys. But Donyell Malen put them straight in detention yesterday with that brace and seeing Villa to another 3 points in the Europa League. So we'll take a look at all the talking points, all the action from Thursday night's win at Villa Park, and we look ahead to Sunday's visit of Wolverhampton Wanderers, the basement battlers. Hopefully, fingers crossed, it's not a classic Villa and we can get all 3 points there as well. And we're on a real good run again, aren't we, after that defeat to Liverpool a few weeks ago? So yeah, let's take a look at it then. We'll start off. Tell you what, we'll start off with the Young Boys fans. I mean, that was the talking point, wasn't it, from last night again? When it was the Maccabi game, it was the Palestine protesters we were talking about. Hopefully, when the visit of, I think it's Salzburg next at Villa Park, we can just focus on the football. But this had, not that it did last time, but nothing to do with the Villa fans again. It was just the aggressive Young Boys fans. It was very strange. It wasn't particularly towards the Villa fans either. I was in the lower north yesterday, right by the Young Boys fans, so I saw it all unfolding. To be honest, it was a pretty quiet night at Villa Park in terms of the Villa fans. It was a lower attendance than usual. The Villa fans certainly weren't bang up for it or particularly singing, or it wasn't loud and we weren't making it hostile for them at all. But I noticed whenever a Villa player went near them to take a throw-in or a corner, particularly when Tielemans went over that time, they were throwing stuff. There was loads of stuff coming over, abusive language coming over. They were, like I say, throwing stuff. They were spitting. I saw numerous fans spitting, which I thought was just disgusting. It was just completely uncalled for. And that's obviously what triggered Donyell Malen to give him a bit of stick when he scored, and I thought it was great to see. I think he went a little bit too close, just for his own safety and for the team's safety. He probably should have done what he did for the second goal and just held it back a little bit further. But I'm all for giving away fans stick, and especially when they were as aggressive as they were for no reason. I thought that was fantastic. So I was really pleased to see Donyell Malen shut them right up, and they were absolutely fuming, weren't they? Which was hilarious. Although I'm sure the police won't thank Malen for sparking that off a little bit further, but like I say, I don't think it was really going to take much. I just think when any Villa player went over, they were going to kick off, and I think they were looking for an opportunity to have a go at the police as well, who did their best to keep them at bay. But it really was kicking off down there. There was punches being thrown and really aggressive behaviour. And then all of a sudden, the naughty boys. They certainly stopped. That sign came up on the screen, didn't it? The riot police came out with the shields and the whatever. I don't know whether they're batons and stuff like that. I'm not sure, but they went quiet then for a good 20 minutes or so, didn't they? That sign was on the screen. I'm not sure what it read, but they behaved themselves for a good 20 minutes and didn't sing, and it was hilarious. Some of the chants coming back from the Villa fans in the North Stand. Mimicking their like Viking sort of chant with the claps. That was funny. Where's your drummer gone? Just to name a couple, there were some really funny chants coming from the Villa fans, and it did make it a little bit more interesting, to be fair. But look, we don't want to see that kind of violence, I'd say, towards the police. Police have got enough to deal with without dealing with idiots like that coming into our country and getting carried away for absolutely no reason. I just think they get a bit excited when they come to play a big English Premier League club, don't they? It's probably their highlight of their history, so coming to play at the mighty Villa Park. So they'll all be sent back packing, probably had their night out in Pop World last night, and back to Switzerland you go. Yeah, and I thought the Swiss people were supposed to be nice, calm, lovely people, but I've got a different perception of them now, that's for sure. But enough of that. Let's take a look at the action that was on the pitch, and we'll take a look at the lineup first. It was an opportunity for Unai to rest, rotate, shuffle the pack a little bit, and that's exactly what he did. Martinez stayed in goal again, which I just don't understand why Bizot doesn't play in the Europa League games. I really don't understand why. I think Bizot arguably deserved an opportunity to stay in the team when it was in the Premier League, but for some reason, no, he sticks with Martinez. I don't have a problem with that. I like Martinez. I've kind of moved past what happened in the summer. I think he's had a couple of great games. Everyone seems to be after him, especially not just Villa fans or particularly Villa fans. Sometimes you scroll up different apps and people coming at him if he just makes a mistake or if there's a hint of a mistake. Oh, you only got a reputation because of the World Cup. Like, come on, just have an opinion for yourself instead of just copying what someone said on YouTube or something. It's a bit daft, or someone said on Sky Sports. Yeah, he was fine last night. I think he made one save. I don't think they really threatened, did they, young boys? So it was a pretty quiet night for Martinez, who didn't look best pleased at the end that he didn't get his clean sheet. Ian Maatsen come in. I was impressed with him. I was glad to see him play. Pau Torres and Lindelof were the centre-back pairing, and Bogard was at right-back. Wasn't sure whether we'd see Bogard and Lindelof kind of switch there, and it would be Bogard the centre-back and Lindelof the right-back, but I think that was a better balance. I don't really like Lindelof as a right-back. As a centre-back, he was fine. He put in a decent performance yesterday. It was Tielemans and Onana in midfield. Good to see Onana back. Got 80 minutes of action last night, so good to see him fully back and available, and it wasn't too serious. Obviously, he missed the Leeds game, didn't he? It was Sancho, Rodgers and Gesson behind Donyell, Malen, wasn't it? And probably as expected, Morgan Rodgers never gets a rest, does he? I think we're always going to see Malen lead the line. We might have thought there was a chance that he gives Watkins another run out. Good opportunity for him to get on the score sheet last night. He did get a few minutes, didn't he? But it wasn't to be. But yeah, as expected, really, that lineup, I was relatively happy with that. Thought we might see Ross Barkley in there too. He came on in the second half. Obviously, Harvey Elliott did make the bench, but again, no minutes for him. Surely he goes back in January. It's just turning to be a complete waste of time. It's a very strange situation, isn't it? A bit bored of talking about it. There's no need to really go into it. I should think there's going to be some sort of break clause at some point. They're not going to tell us. I know, like Sky Sports were reporting a couple of days ago about Emery talking about his future, but they're not going to tell us whether there is or isn't. I think there's a high chance he'll probably go back in January. I think that's for the best. There is talk of, will we unleash him in January and there'll be some sort of clause where we pay the fee later. You never know, but I can't see that. I can't see Harvey Elliott agreeing to probably wasting 6 months of his career for that to happen, because it wouldn't benefit him at all, and he'd be getting a lot more game time at Liverpool, wouldn't he? So yeah, it's not worked out for him at all. Emery obviously doesn't fancy him, and he'll be going back sooner rather than later. But Andres Garcia was on the bench yesterday, which again was good to see, because he's been the invisible man for a long time. We've kind of been guessing what's going on with him. Is it injury? Is he just out of favour? Very strange, obviously, with Matty Cash being the only recognised right back at the club. He's kind of needed, isn't he? And I'd like to have seen him in games like last night and previous Europa League games, because there were bright spots for him when he was featuring back in February time last year, wasn't there? So hopefully there is a future for him, because I did like the look of him, and fingers crossed it was just an injury and it's not just an out of favour thing, and he's starting to recover, and obviously him being on the bench last night is a good sign with that. So yeah, let's get into the action then. So Villa dominated, didn't they? If we take a little look at the stats, it was pretty much all Villa. I think the scoreline really flattered young boys. I think it could have been 4 or 5 at least. I don't think they were. Well, yeah, they were worthy of a goal, because that one that was ruled out at the end was very, very tight, and then the one that they scored, which was a great finish, in fairness, that was very tight too. So they're probably worthy of a goal, but it should have been about 4-5-1 at least, really. Villa had 60% of the ball, 19 shots to young boys, just 6. Just the one shot on target for them. I thought they had one on target in the first half. Might have been ruled offside though. Villa's 8 shots on target, 6 big chances to young boys 1, 5 big chances missed, 7 corners to young boys 0. So Villa did completely dominate that game, and the XG, God, I don't like XG, but that was a 2.19 to young boys 0.38. So we actually win a game on XG for a change, even though we battered Bournemouth 4-0. I don't think we even won that game on XG. So yeah, read into that what you will, but I thought it was a good performance from Villa last night. Like I said, I don't think 2-1 really looks great against a side like young boys. You'd probably be expecting to put them away for a few more, but I do think the performance, like I say, warranted 3 or 4 goals, and Villa did a professional job on them. A little bit sloppy towards the end. Unai made the substitutes, didn't he? And Villa lost their momentum a little bit. And then obviously young boys got a couple of chances, and that one was just about onside, but yeah, it was a tale of the first half, wasn't it? It was Donyell Malen. Yuri Tielemans set him up for that first goal. It was a delicious ball into the box from Yuri Tielemans. So accustomed what we've become to seeing with Yuri Tielemans. What a fantastic player he is, and what a fantastic option he is to have back, because we really Well, I'd say we missed him, but to be fair, our depth in midfield has been so strong, and now Unai's got a headache on Sunday because he's got Onana available, he's got Tielemans, he's got Kamara available. They can't all start, I wouldn't have said. So it'll be interesting to see what he does. I do think he probably will go with Tielemans and Kamara, and Onana probably will drop to the bench. And I think at home to a team like Wolves, who are absolutely dreadful at the minute, I do think that's probably the best choice. But we'll talk about that in a few minutes' time. We'll carry on with the young boys game for now. But it's great to see Malen. There's different aspects to his game. His heading ability as well. It was a good header into that bottom corner. Keeper couldn't quite get a full hand to it, could it? And it got into the back of the net. And obviously the celebration sparked from there, which I thought was really funny. And it was unfortunate to see that cup land straight off Marlon's head and give him a little bit of a cut, didn't it? And I think Rodgers caught one as well, and Jadon Sancho with a nice little boot of a cup straight back into the young boys' fans, which was funny to see. That was a good strike from him. So I think that's worthy of a goal for Jadon Sancho. We'll give him that. And yeah, the second finish as well was really good work from Morgan Rodgers this time, driving forward, what we love seeing Morgan Rodgers do, into Malen, who's I just think is such a good finisher. Really, really is a good finisher. I don't know if any of you watched any of the Villa TV stuff after the game and his interview, but he's such a cool, calm customer. He really is, and that kind of reflects in his game a bit in front of goal. He was unhappy that he didn't have 3 or 4 goals, to be fair, and he should have had a hat-trick. Obviously, you and I took him off. They were saying, "Were you fuming that you got took off on your hat trick?" And he was like, "No, I should have scored before." And he's a really calm character, and I'm really pleased for him because I think he's a bit of a fan favourite, even though he hasn't featured that much. The fans are desperate for him to do well. I've been desperate for him to do well. We all like the look of him. I think we've all felt a little bit sorry for him because he didn't get picked for the Champions League squad last season when Rashford and Sensio got in instead. And yeah, and he's really had to wait for his opportunity. And when he has that opportunity, it's been limited. But he's really taking his chances now. And he had a big hand on us winning that game against Leeds on Sunday. And he was the man that won us the game last night too. So I think he deserves to start on Sunday. What realm will that be? Will that be second striker? Will that lead the line? We'll take a look at that again in a few minutes, but he has to be in that starting 11 for me. I think his finishing ability, he's the best finisher at the club, and for me, you can't afford to have that on the bench, especially when Villa do miss quite a lot of chances sometimes. So, yeah, really pleased for him. But we'll talk about Morgan Rodgers, the man that got the assist as well. I thought he was outstanding last night, and he's really back to his best, I think, and he's starting to... You know, he took a lot of stick at the start of the season, and we all give him a bit of stick, and rightly so. He was really struggling at the start of the season, but he's really refound his form, and he looks like one of the best 10s in the league right now, and his profile is so tall, so strong. It's not something you tend to see for a number 10 or a player of his position, but he's almost looking complete, and you know, he's still got aspects of his game he can level up, but at the moment his form is scintillating. I'm really impressed with him. He was brilliant. 2 goals against Leeds on Sunday, showing that free kick he can score as well. Really excited for his progress, and I hope he's at the club for a long time, but I get the feeling there's going to be some big bids coming this summer. But look, Villa will be the beneficiaries of that. They paid next to nothing for him. 15 million in today's market is nothing. What a find that was from Unai Emery and whoever was involved in that deal, because that is going to make Villa an absolute ton of profit, isn't it? I don't think he'll be selling for much less than 100 million in today's market. But fingers crossed he's at Villa for a long time anyway. Jadon Sancho, I've seen mixed reviews on Jadon Sancho last night. Some people have been quite critical. I thought he was actually okay. I thought he was decent. I do want to see more from him. I think we're getting to that point now. Like, need to start seeing a bit more from you, Jadon. We do need to start seeing a bit more, but I thought he was pretty decent yesterday. I think he should have had a goal as well. I think he had a couple of opportunities, didn't he? But I thought he was okay. He's starting to get there, but we are approaching December, Christmas time now, and we haven't really seen much. I'm not going to get too hyper fixated on goals, assists, and GA and all that nowadays that we absolutely judge everyone on, myself included, sometimes as well. Need to remember, you can look at players with the eye and see how they're doing, the impact they're having on a game. And I thought Sancho was okay yesterday. On the other hand, Evan Gesson, I thought he was awful. I did. I don't like to be too critical of anyone in a Villa shirt, but I thought he was really poor. Decision making, slow, first touch poor. Wasn't a good night. Wasn't a good night's work for him. He got the full 90 as well. I'm struggling to see what we've seen in him. I've got to be honest. Everything looks a bit difficult. He looks like he's struggling to adapt. It's just not working at the minute. I'm really not sure what we paid that 35 million for. There just doesn't look like there's any sort of quality or any technique, or I don't know. For me, I just don't fancy him at the minute, and he wouldn't be anywhere near the starting 11. Hopefully that changes. Look, I'll fully back him. I'll fully trust him to turn it around, and fingers crossed he does, because we've seen it before. We've seen it with various players. I know people always point to Tielemans' first season was slow, but we always knew the quality Tielemans had got. We did see it in spells. It was just a matter of getting a run of games for him, in my opinion. Gesson has had runs of games, and he just hasn't taken that chance. So yeah, in terms of the defence was okay, a little bit sloppy towards the end. I'm sure Martinez wasn't happy with his defenders. Come the end of the match, Bogard is a bit of a Swiss Army knife. Can play almost, well, not anywhere, but he can play right back, centre back, midfield. He's a very useful player, and I'd like to see him get more game time. It's difficult with how well Villa are playing at the minute. But I was impressed with him at right back yesterday. Watkins came on, didn't he? When the subs came on, Ollie Watkins came on the 60th minute, so he had half hour to get himself a goal. Wasn't to be. It did seem like the Villa players were desperate for him to score and almost teed him up at every opportunity. But it's just not happening for Ollie, is it, at the minute? It's just the shooting boots aren't quite there. He did have a decent effort from the edge of the box that forced an okay save out of the goalkeeper, but it just looks like he's lacking a bit of confidence in front of goal. I think when he does get in front of goal, he's not going to be passing. He's not going to be looking for an assist. He's going to be looking to score himself and get his rhythm back. And I do back him to do so. I don't think he's been playing terribly. I just think the goals aren't flowing and it's affecting his confidence. There has been talk of him carrying that knock that Thomas Tuchel talked about. So that probably isn't helping either. So let's get to Christmas. Hopefully we can get a backup in January and look to give him some support. Will he start on Sunday? That's something we will take a look at now. I think that's pretty much everything from last night. We'll take a little look at the Europa League table. Again, I say most of the talk was stuff off the pitch again, wasn't it, last night, more so than everything off it. But the attendance, everything on it. The attendance, what was the attendance last night? I'm not sure what it was. There was a fair few empty seats, but it was a strange 5:45 kickoff, wasn't it? Very, very bizarre. I'm just trying to find that, if I've got the attendance here. 32,000 it says here, so not a bad turnout in my opinion for a 5:45 p.m. kickoff against a real no-mark side in my opinion. Young boys, they're not a very good side, are they at all? It's not a glamorous time. I'm not saying I'll go to Villa to watch Villa. I don't particularly go to watch opposition, but all these things do play a part, especially for the sort of fans that may or may not go. Expensive as well. I don't think Villa have massively overpriced these Europa League games for the group stage, because some of the games they are pretty dull. There's not always loads on them either. So, and obviously with the last two games, we had the Maccabi, all the stuff around that, and then obviously that 5:45 kickoff last night, bizarre kickoff. A lot of people don't finish work till 5:30, 6 o'clock. So to price it up to £67, I think the cheapest you could get was £45 for a season ticket holder, £55 for a non-season ticket holder. Just too expensive, in my opinion. I'd have liked to have took my partner and stuff, but it's just too expensive for those kind of games, especially with a lot of games at Villa Park. People might be prioritising going on Sunday for a Premier League game against Wolves, so completely understand that. I don't think that was really that bad a turnout, considering all those factors, and the away fans again only brought half an allocation. They didn't bring anyone in the upper tier either, so that contributes to that as well. We'll have a look at the table then, as I was just about to do. Europa League, so that places us third. So level on points with Lyon, who are in top spot. They've got a superior goal difference to ours of +9. Ours is +5. Midtjylland, I'm not sure how you pronounce that one. I've got a bit of hot water for pronouncing that one wrong before. You could probably guess how, but they're in second place. I'm surprised to see them so high, to be fair. So they're in second place on 12 points. Villa on 12 points. So Yeah, all to play for really in these last 3 games. Villa, could go and claim that top spot really, and seal those home ties in the second legs, which would be really beneficial, wouldn't it? Always gives you that advantage. So fingers crossed we can go and do that. I would back us to do so with the fixtures. Looking at them, you've got obviously next one up is Basel, isn't it? Which will be a tough test away in Switzerland this time. So another trip to Switzerland. We visited Young Boys last season, so Basel this time. And then we've got Salzburg, which will be the last game at Villa Park in the Europa League league phase, and of course Fenerbahce as well. Fenerbahce are a side I'd have thought would be, right up there, and probably one of the difficult ties to look at. But they're down in 20th. Some of the other names that stand out are Roma. They're down in 15th at the minute. You do look at it and think, Villa really, we should go and win this competition. Obviously, it's a lot easier said than done. Fingers crossed we can, because it's been a long time coming, hasn't it? We're desperate to see us get our hands on some silverware and John McGinn lift that big trophy above his head. That would be the dream, wouldn't it? That's what we all go to sleep of thinking every night. So, fingers crossed that is what happens. Just touching on Fenerbahce, they drew last night, and our old pal John Duran did get sent off for a headbutt. Surprise. It wasn't much of a headbutt. It was a bit of a lean forward. It was a bit soft, in my opinion, for him to get sent off. But that is a 3-game ban, I believe. So he'll be banned for Villa's visit, which I am pleased about, because you just know he would score against us, and he'd lap it up as well. Even for no reason, Villa did nothing wrong to him. It was really bizarre why he was so desperate to get out and kind of like resented us. It was really strange. He seemed to be treated well. The fans loved him, but for one reason or another, he just wasn't happy. I don't think there'll ever be enough for him. I think he could be at Real Madrid getting paid 500 bags a week, and it still wouldn't be enough. I think he'd want more, or the people around him probably want more. He's probably being badly advised. We'll have a little look at the Wolves game. Moving on from the Europa League, we'll take a little look at Wolves. I think Wolves speak for themselves, don't they? I mean, they've been absolutely dross this year, to the point where I actually feel a little bit sorry for them. They have been that pathetic and feeble this season. Almost like the season we got relegated in 15-16, wasn't it, when we got 17 points. It's the sort of season you can see for them. Will they even amass 17 points? There's been talk. Will they even beat Derby's record of 11? At the moment, you would say no. You looked at Southampton the same last year, and they just about crept above it in the end. So you probably feel like that they could do. But I think they're definitely gone. I don't see them clawing it back. Sometimes I do feel sorry for them, and then I do think back to all the crap they used to give us, particularly in the Championship, when they just about got their noses ahead of us for the first time in about 40 years, and they couldn't stop singing about us, which was absolutely bizarre. I'd never seen Wolves as a rival. Wolverhampton miles away, and we've got two clubs a lot closer to us, Blues and Albion. So for me, it's never been much of a rivalry. We've always struggled at the Molineux, but at Villa Park we should smash them. I say smash them. They don't tend to get smashed, in fairness. They do tend to be close in games, but we should beat them. I don't see us smashing them 4-5, I'll be honest, but I do think we should beat them. But you never know. It has got that classic Villa written all over it, hasn't it? Which I don't like to say too much, because I think it's a little bit of a discredit to this team and Unai Emery's what he's built, because he's built such a good side, such a strong side. I don't really think it's fair to call them classic Villa. They've been so good. But look, I will always have that inside of me, that little bit of worry. They've had 12 games, they've lost 10, they've drawn 2. Will they come to Villa on their big day out? Let's be honest, it is their big day out, and will they come and get something? They have had a good record against us in the past, but not at Villa Park. I think their record at Villa Park is overrated. At Molineux, yes, we just can't seem to get a win at Molineux, but at Villa Park, we've beat them the last couple of occasions. I don't think there's any sort of record there, in my opinion. You can't say you've got a good record at Villa Park when you've lost your last 2 games there. But it will be a game Villa have to be on it, and they have to take it very serious. We can't take our foot off the gas and think, it's Wolves, we'll bounce them tonight. Like I say, they do run games closely generally. They're not just going to get absolutely wiped the floor with, or smashed. We do need to be serious, and we do need to be on it, and we need to get 3 points, because they will be unbearable. If it's the only win they get this season, they will really enjoy that it's coming against us. So let's make sure that doesn't happen. Let's make sure we get 3 points. And what will the lineup be? I think there's a few headaches in there for Unai. Looking in defence straight away, I think obviously 4 of that back 5 picks itself. A lot of you would probably say 5 out of 5 picks itself. Unai Emery would probably say 5 out of 5 picks itself. Martinez, Cash, Konsa, Torres. But does Ian Maatsen deserve a start? I think this is the kind of game that would potentially suit Ian Maatsen. I would like to see him start on Sunday for me. I love Luca Dean. Absolutely love the bloke. Really good player, and a lot of games he should be playing in. But I think Maatsen had an impact in the game against Leeds last Sunday. I thought he was good last night. This is a game where Villa are going to be on the front foot, all over Wolves. And I do think Maatsen offers you that bit more going forward. So I would like to see, I would personally like to see Ian Maatsen in that starting 11, but I'm not sure we will see that, to be honest. Midfield, Tielemans and Kamara. I think we will see Tielemans and Kamara. I think Onana will probably drop to the bench for this one. He'll probably find himself a bit unfortunate with how well he's been playing up until his injury, where he did only miss the one game, and he was pretty good last night too. But I just think Tielemans and Kamara, I think there's a good balance for this one. Again, Tielemans playing those forward passes. He's got more of an eye for a pass than Amadou Onana, and again, those eye of the needle passes is kind of what Villa will be looking for against the low block walls that I'd assume we're going to see on Sunday. So that would it be for me. It's going to get interesting, that forward line as well. McGinn's going to come back in, I'm certain of. Morgan Rogers will of course start. Buendia, I would think would come back in, but he was hooked at half time against Leeds, wasn't he? So it's what he does with Malen and Watkins. I think Watkins will start. Would I start him? I'm not sure. Personally, I think I would go with Buendia and Malen up top, personally. But I'm not sure that's what we'll see. We can keep kind of mollycoddling Watkins a bit and like, oh, you know, we love Watkins and it'll come. It's not happening in terms of in front of goal. Yes, his work rate's not been terrible and his general play hasn't been terrible. But for me, he's a striker that scored 1 in about 18 games now. Malen is just at the back of a brace. He's our top scorer this season. He has to start for me, and I think he deserves it. But I potentially see Malen playing behind Watkins, and that could work too. But it will be interesting. But these are good problems to have for Villa. A bit of a selection headache for Unai, and that can only be a good thing. Villa have got options. Just taking a look at the rest of the options on the bench, I don't see the likes of Gesson playing or Sancho. I don't see them starting from the off. Again, options off the bench, Ross Barkley. Konsa's obviously going to come back in defence, as we said. So that's how I would go. But it will be interesting to see what he does. Harvey Elliott definitely won't be in there. It will be interesting. It will be. I would personally go with that. But listen, I think Watkins will probably end up starting somehow. But that's what I would go with anyway. So I think that's pretty much. We'll take a look at the Premier League table as well, see where that leaves proceedings. If we could get 3 points on Sunday, which you would like to think we will. Villa on a very good run now on our last 4. Currently sat in 4th place, aren't we? 6 wins from 12, 21 points on the board. So we have got an opportunity to potentially go second if results go your way. I don't see. You probably would see Chelsea and Man City playing each other. That's an important one. No, sorry. Man City have lead, so Man City have won already, in my opinion, and Chelsea have Arsenal. Whew, that's an interesting game. So I don't see Chelsea winning that game. I could see a draw there potentially. That would put them on 24. We'd go on 24, so they'd probably still be ahead of us on goal difference. But Arsenal are more than capable of beating them at Stamford Bridge. So we could potentially go above Chelsea and go to 3rd with 3 points, which would be amazing, wouldn't it, really? With how the season started, it would be absolutely incredible. All to play for. Very, very exciting times, and we just got to go and get that win. I can't stress enough how important, how seriously we've got to take this game on Sunday. Please, just got to. If anything less than 3 points on Sunday would be so disappointing, wouldn't it? But I firmly back us to go and get the job done. And then I think it's That would make it 5 wins on the spin, which would be fantastic. And then just looking at the fixtures, after that, it's Brighton midweek away. That's going to be a tough game, isn't it, Brighton away? We do enter a little bit of a stickier patch here with, like I say, Brighton away, Arsenal at home. We're looking great. But again, bring me anyone at Villa Park. Basel away in the Europa League. West Ham away. We've had a little bit of an upturn in fortunes recently. And then Man U before Christmas at Villa Park, which again, I know we have a honking record against Man U, but surely we've got to beat them at some point. And then Chelsea away on the 27th. So a bit of a stickier patch, but Villa had a sticky patch early in the season, and we come through it with flying colours, so I'd back us to do it again. We've just got to continue this run, and good times ahead, but really exciting. So I think we'll wrap it up there, guys. I've rambled on for long enough now, I think. As always, drop a comment in below if you've made it this far. Thank you very much for watching, as always, and I'll see you on Sunday at Villa Park, and we'll end it with a big up the Villa.